Hey everybody! In this video, I'll go over the technique of verbatim, which is basically a technique that ensures you do not bait and switch questions with your students. But before we get started, here's a joke that's sure to set you on fire. Why did the redhead go to the dentist? Gingivitis. To be asking good questions is a teacher's most glorious task. And in a typical Q&A exchange, teachers ask a question, wait for hands, and then call on a student to answer. It's pretty simple and straightforward. However, before the chosen student answers, they often restate the question. It's often useful and occasionally critical to do this, especially when asking a challenging question. However, in repeating the question, it's important to remember to ask the same question, verbatim. Some teachers unintentionally pull a bait and switch on their students, changing the question after a student has raised his hand and begun to formulate a response. Now this seems harmless, but can have several negative consequences. First, the student with his hand raised is now asked to respond aloud to a question that is different from what he volunteered to speak about. He's not prepared, and the quality of the answer is likely to be lower. Even a moderate change in syntax can force a student to revise the syntax of the answer he's been preparing, leaving him confused or distracted at exactly the moment he's on stage. If you ask your students to take the risk of answering questions about which they are less than 100% confident, and you should ask them to take that risk, they deserve to know what the question will be, have time to consider their response, and answer the question they think they'll get to answer. In many cases where you bait and switch, students are left in stumped silence by a change in the question that may appear insignificant to the teacher. For example, a change from, "Why do you think the author wrote this article?" to, "What was the purpose of this article?" may seem insignificant to you, but it could have a huge impact on a student's desire to answer the question. Verbatim also ensures that students are answering the exact question you asked, not what they think you want to hear. If your questions matter, and of course they do, you want students to hear them, consider them, and participate based on thoughtful reflections. Make that easier for them by keeping the questions constant.